It was a stormy midnight in Los Angeles. Rain hammered the empty streets, reflecting the glowing red and blue neon lights of a biker bar near the highway.
Join us. Subscribe now.
Inside, laughter echoed, engines rumbled outside, and the air was thick with smoke and stories. Then the heavy wooden doors creaked open. Everyone froze. A small figure appeared, drenched, shivering, clutching a worn photograph. She was no older than 10. Her school backpack was soaked, and her eyes carried a weight far beyond her years. The bikers turned, tattoos glistening in the light, conversations dying mid-sentence. One of them muttered, "What the hell?" She stepped forward, trembling. Her name was Emily. In her tiny hands she held a faded photo of a man in military uniform, her father. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "Please, help me find my dad." The room went silent. These were men who'd seen fights, wars, betrayal. But a child's cry pierced their armor. The leader, Wade Ironclad, a grizzled veteran with a gray beard and cold, sharp eyes, slowly rose from his stool. He knelt to meet her gaze. In that moment, something inside him shifted. She reminded him of the daughter he'd lost years ago. Emily told her story. Her father, a soldier, had been missing for months after a covert mission overseas went wrong. Her mother worked double shifts, and Emily had transferred to a new school in Los Angeles. The bullies called her Ghost Girl because her dad was gone. Days earlier, while waiting near the bus stop, she overheard two men whispering about a soldier being held near an abandoned base out in the Mojave. That night, after another cruel day at school, she grabbed the only clue she had, the photo, and ran through the storm to the biker bar her father once mentioned. "If you ever get lost," he told her, "find the lions with wheels. They protect their own." Wade looked around at his brothers. No words were needed. He slammed his bottle down, the sound echoing like a war drum. "Mount up," he growled. The bikers roared in response. Outside, engines thundered like rolling clouds. Wade lifted Emily onto the back of his Harley, handed her a helmet, and they rode into the storm. Streets blurred, city lights faded, and the desert darkness swallowed them whole. Hours later, they reached a checkpoint on the edge of the Mojave Desert. Dim lights, suspicious guards. The bikers formed a wall of leather and chrome. Wade spoke to the guards while others scanned the perimeter. Beyond the fences lay an abandoned military facility, floodlights flickering, shadows moving inside. Wade signaled his men. Two distracted the guards while Wade and Emily slipped through a narrow passage they'd found behind a rusted fence. Inside, the air was cold, the bunker damp. Emily clutched his jacket as they moved silently down a corridor. Then they saw him. A man, weak but alive, chained to a chair, his face lighting up the second he saw his daughter. Emily ran to him, sobbing, "Daddy!" He whispered her name, tears in his eyes. But their reunion was short. Footsteps, voices. Mercenaries flooded the hallway. Outside, engines revved. The bikers circled the base, headlights cutting through the dark like blades. A tense standoff unfolded. Armed men surrounded the entrance, but they weren't ready for a wall of roaring Harleys and men who'd faced worse. Wade stood shoulder to shoulder with Emily's father, staring down the mercenaries. "You picked the wrong family," Wade growled. One of the bikers hit the throttle, the engines roaring in perfect unison. It was a warning. Inside, Emily hid behind her father as Wade prepared to fight. Suddenly, sirens, police and SWAT vehicles surrounded the base at dawn. Wade had tipped them off anonymously before the raid. Trapped, the mercenaries surrendered one by one. As the sun rose over the desert, Emily clung to her father outside the bunker, tears mixing with rainwater. Wade placed a hand on the soldier's shoulder. "You brought her home." "We just gave her a ride," the soldier said, voice breaking. Back in Los Angeles, the biker crew formed a line in front of Emily's school, engines idling. The same kids who mocked her now watched in silence as she walked through the gates wearing her father's jacket, head held high. The bikers weren't just protectors anymore, they were family. That night became legend. Among bikers, they called it the ride for the missing soldier. It wasn't about violence. It was about loyalty, courage, and standing up for those who couldn't. And every year after that, on the same rainy night, the crew would ride past Emily's school, engines roaring to remind the city that some people still fight for honor.